The Snyder Cut. What is up, everybody? Critical Cow here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Snyder Cut. Now, I didn't want to make a review of this right after I saw it. I wanted it to settle in just a bit, and I think that it is settled in enough for me to make a fair and honest review of this movie. First off, after watching this movie, my first thought was that it was good, and my second thought was that that was the longest movie I've ever seen, and 4 hours and 2 minutes is definitely my limit for how long I can watch a movie in one sitting. I mean, it was good, and I love superhero movies, as everybody here knows, but oh my gosh, like 4 hours, that was a long movie. It felt like I was watching 6 episodes of a TV show, which is almost what it was since they split it up into 6 parts. So overall, I thought that this movie was good. It was a huge improvement on the Whedon cut, the Whedon version of the Justice League. It was such a huge improvement of that. I loved that they included Martian Manhunter. I loved the inclusion of Slade Wilson at the end as well. I was especially excited to see Martian Manhunter as soon as Martha's eyes, Superman's mom, as soon as her eyes turned red. I was like, okay, something's not right here. And then when it showed the cape and the boots, I knew instantly that that was Martian Manhunter, and then it pans up and my suspicions were confirmed. That was really exciting for me. That was probably the most exciting part of this movie after watching it for the first time, was seeing his reveal. I kind of think that he looked a little bit like a video game character, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it. It seemed like there was a little bit more editing that needed to be done on his character in terms of how he looked. Something else after looking back on that big reveal moment is that if he was like fully aware of everything that was going on, I kind of wonder why he didn't help. I feel like his reveal should have been at the very end when he flew down to see Batman. I feel like that would have been a better reveal at the very end because it's kind of a little bit of a plot hole, seeing as how he's got superpowers and the world was about to end and he was fully aware of the situation and yet didn't really help out very much at all. Kind of a plot hole, but it's really cool to see Martian Manhunter on the big screen. Something I saw people complaining about for this movie was the 4:3 aspect ratio. I don't really know why he did that, but it didn't affect the movie at all for me. It was still a great movie. It didn't add or take away from how good the movie was, so I don't really think that's too valid of a criticism when you're criticizing a movie as the square screen. It didn't really do much for me, but you know, it is what it is. Something I liked a lot better about this movie were the character backgrounds for the characters The Flash and Cyborg, specifically Cyborg. I think that the casting choice for Cyborg was also really good. I know that the casting choice for Aquaman and Superman gets a lot of praise, but I think that the casting choice for the Cyborg is underrated, and I've said that before in my previous video on this movie, which is on my second channel, Critical Cow 2. But yeah, I really liked the character background. There was a lot more depth to these characters, especially with Cyborg, seeing as how he had this hard relationship with his father, seeing as how he had to deal with becoming, in his eyes, a monster, experiencing his new powers, the loss of his dad, and then having the weight of the world on his shoulders. I mean, it just, there was a lot more depth to his character, especially, which I really appreciated for this version of the movie. Also, the Flash's character had a lot more depth as well, showing his father in prison, his struggles with trying to get his father out of prison, also showing the car rescue scene where he rescued what I believe to be Iris. I think that that was a great inclusion, just showing all these extra characters, all the side characters in the main characters' lives. I also really appreciated all of the lines that they took out that Batman had. For example, the Jesus, he is tall line. Also the yep, something's bleeding line. There's a couple more cringy Batman lines that were there that really just downplayed his character quite a bit. I didn't really like this version of Batman as much as I would have liked to, but it is a huge improvement on the Whedon cut. So I've got to give them props for that as well. Still not the perfect Batman to me, but a lot better. I liked that they showed the Flash to be more powerful in this movie, showing and mentioning that he can run near and past even the speed of light. I liked how they had him run so fast that he time traveled backwards. That's something that they didn't even hint at, they didn't include at all in the first version of this movie. Overall, there were a lot better improvements on the first version of this Justice League movie, and overall, it was a lot better. It was so much better. Something else that I really liked about this movie is how they had the Justice League actually work as a team this time around. In the first movie, they were completely reliant on Superman, and when Superman came in, he saved the day. And as I said before, it was just Superman and friends. In this movie, it seemed like they were actually winning even without Superman, but when Superman came in, it was still an awesome and pretty epic moment. In this movie, every character was necessary, whereas in the first one, no characters were necessary except for maybe Cyborg and Superman, and that's it. I still have a little bit of thinking to do on this movie, but overall, it's one of the best DC movies. I can't really say it's the best because I think that the Joker movie was probably better than this movie, although it is a different kind of movie as well. But if we exclude that Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, this movie might be the best DC superhero movie. Its other competitors would probably be Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but overall, this was a much better film than the Whedon cut. It was very long, but it was a lot better. Also, something else that I wanted to see in this movie more of was Darkseid. I was kind of disappointed to see that basically the only scene that we got to see of him was when he was getting defeated by the old gods, and although they are very powerful and probably could defeat him, especially when he didn't have the Omega effect, it was still kind of like a little bit of a letdown to see that be the only scene that he's in this movie, at least the only action scene that he's in. Darkseid is supposed to be this unstoppable force. He's supposed to be a very intimidating opponent and a very intimidating villain. And to have him be defeated so easily when most of his actions he does effortlessly, it kind of downplays what his character is. So that's another thing that I kind of didn't really like about this movie that much. Overall, it was still a good movie. It was still miles better than the other one. And I'm going to give it a B on the Moo Review scale, which is a very high grade. So good job to Zack Snyder. It's a lot better. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to watch it again, even though it is 4 hours. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see what everybody else thought about it. But with that all being said, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.